So they wanted me to tell you guys that they're concerned with what was on my face because they said the ceiling, which I guess is what is this? I don't know what that is. They said that's what causes the things to come on my face. I'm not sure about that. But what I am sure of is that, again, they're discoloring my skin. They keep trying to hit my temples. So they're worried not about my health and, any of my medical issues. That would be something that people who care about you would worry about. So they were upset because they said, well, the people are involved because these people didn't call you and trying to find out how you're doing. That's what I said. That's what I said. They keep talking about why I'm not dating, because that's what their focus was before they were upset when I talked about them trying to break me into prostitution or stripping or anything sexual. And they were upset because, like, how dare you accuse us of that? And then now that it's exactly what I said it was, now it's like they're trying to turn it around to be like, well, that's my point. There's an issue I have with people who seem so obsessed with who I'm dating, why I'm dating, what kind of people I'm dating. And I'm going to call this prostitution because that's a very easy way, especially when you're a female, to get you involved with the wrong type of person. So they said one of the dreams they created was after I met the man from Sweden briefly on the job. They created a dream where I would meet him at a hotel and they said they'll switch him out for a woman. I don't even understand that dream. But the whole point is someone's laughing at that. Yeah, because when I'm sitting in my apartment, I don't have any privacy. They broadcast what I'm saying out loud. And then what they do is they take my video and then when I rewatch it, they change it around a bit because what they're doing is stealing. So every time I accuse them of stealing, every video is my proof that they do it. And I have over 1,000, like 1,400 videos proving that. So what they wanted to do is they said they wanted to seem like they were playing along with me. Again, that's what a stalker does. So when I'm dealing with this stalking situation, not just the stalking, but the medical issues and everything else. So they were like, why don't you do a series about how this medical issue is affecting you? I do that in every video. But as I'm doing it, I'm talking to you about being a victim of stalking and the worst type of stalking, the type of stalking where they don't just steal my identity, play along with me, steal my videos, try to give me information about. Remember, this started with me being Fashion Fun Femme on Twitter and it being political and them wanting to take credit for it. Have I talked about politics since this started? No. So we're even going to that. Not only were they trying to steal and lie and say they were giving me information, once I do something, they switch to that. So now everybody's talking about gang stalking. I mean, come on. How could they keep switching from one thing to another? Why wouldn't they give me information about politics? And that's my point. If Eric's background is in political science, Felicia's background is in, she said she does like music and she's into casting models. Then why aren't we talking about that? We're not. So another quick thing is, in passing, Felicia was working for a store and they did the flyers and she would call up and get models for the flyers. I was previously, now this would have been years ago. I haven't spoken to Felicia since 2011. So when I was talking to her, maybe this was like in the 2003, 2004, not even like 2006. Maybe this was early 20s, maybe 20 years ago. And 20 years ago, I had been asked at the store I worked for a high-scale Fifth Avenue store, if I wanted to do any type of like dressing up, and I don't even call it modeling. So even before that, someone else was talking about modeling. I never said to her, why don't you put me as a model in your store flyer? Never. But suddenly they're saying that I asked her about me modeling. I would not have wanted to be in her store flyer. I didn't even want to be at a model when I was in the brochure for my college. I didn't even want to be a model when they talked about the acting class I took in like 1995. That was when they brought up the whole Pamela Anderson thing and claimed that I said something about Pamela Anderson. My teacher in the acting course was suggesting that I do some sort of modeling. I was not interested in being a model. So when we start talking about what they're saying versus reality, here we go. It's about putting me in, I think, in a position where I'm going to be seen in that way. I'm not a model. I've seen models in person. They look gorgeous. They're tall. They're gorgeous. When you see a model in person, you say that's a model. When you see me in person, no. And that's my point. I think what I'm going through and what I'm saying about how this was supposed to lead me into prostitution goes back to what they were saying. They were talking about the movie Immigrant with Joaquin Phoenix and I can't remember her name. The beautiful French actress, very talented. And when I saw it, they claimed that they were talking in the background when I saw it. So when I saw it, it was very long ago. It was like, it had to be before 2012. So it would have been before 2012. They said they were talking in the background. So they keep comparing me to that where he sort of pulls her into prostitution. But I'm not someone who just came to this country. That's what I'm saying. Like, their examples of things don't match my life experience. So I'm a born and bred Bronx girl. I know the ropes. I would not have been sucked into prostitution. Coming up with dreams where I meet a man, go to a hotel, and then he switches out another woman wouldn't be something that I would experience. But it would be something that I think they would think I would experience. Just like they would think I would ask to be put in a store flyer. I'm not interested in being a store flyer. No offense to store flyers. That's not my point. My point is I wouldn't have wanted to be in a store flyer. The idea of who I am doesn't match their reality. So they brought up this was a good friend of mine. We were friends from high school, freshman year. And they said, well, I was offended when she suggested I work at a drugstore. Of course, I wouldn't work at a drugstore. It's like, why